Good morning, boys and girls. On today's episode, we go from this to this. Here's the joining head unit that I bought for my 2015 Tacoma. Let's go ahead and get it installed. Alright, so our first order of business is going to be to remove that radio, get it out of my way, and pop this AC controller out. Once that's done, there's two little clips on the back side to remove the harnesses. Those come out. Now we need 10mm screw heads. Alright, so next we will use a 10mm socket to get the 4 bolts. And there's 2 that are tucked up underneath. So we'll use our 10mm socket to loosen up these 10mm bolts. Alright, so now those are done. Should be able to come out no problem. You're going to grab from underneath right here and give it a good yank. You can see it's starting to come out. Well, I'm going to have to remove this. Let's try it again. There we go. Look at that. So now we just need to undo all of these clips. Go. Alright, so the old is out. Time for the new. So one of the things you're going to have to do is pull this whole strip right here out, including your hazard lights. And the way to do that is on the back side there are 4 screws holding it in. So anyway, so that pops out like that. This can go over here, and then to actually get this piece outside of this trim, there are these 4 little push tabs. You just kind of work it out. Then it slides out. I'll give it a quick little clean, and then we'll slap it in the new one. Alright, so into the new one, make sure it's facing the right direction. And you should hear it click in. Coming together, coming together. Well, now that that's done, let's talk about the next part of the video. So Joying doesn't make head units for specific vehicles. They only make the trim pieces and the wiring harnesses. So these trim pieces and these wiring harnesses actually fit in whatever vehicle you get. So when you go on the Joying website, you have to actually search your vehicle to find out which one is right. All the screens are primarily the same. They have 3 different types. There's kinds with 2 knobs, there's kinds with 1 knob, and then there's the flat basic screen like the one that I have, which is basically a tablet. So that screen goes into any vehicle. It's just the trim piece and the harness that you get for whatever you're driving. So with that, Joying, the head units don't have the ability to tap into things like your Bluetooth wireless microphone or your GPS or your reverse camera. So to get around that, Joying does give you a GPS antenna to plug into the back of the Joying head unit, as well as a microphone that you can plug in that clips onto your visor or wherever you want to put it. Joying also gives you the option to buy a standalone reverse camera. This camera would be just like one that you would buy on Academy or at Walmart. It's a standalone unit, and it clips to your license plate in the back of your car, and then goes around and plugs into the joining head unit itself. I didn't want to use that. I wanted to retain my factory reverse camera. Someone smarter than me figured out how to get around that. The way that's done, you must tap into a wire that comes from the reverse camera giving signal to the joint unit. In order to do this, you're going to need a couple things. The first thing is a yellow male video cable, 4 to 5 foot of 14 gauge wire, some butt connectors, I prefer non-insulated, some T-splices or wire taps, as well as some heat shrink. And with all those things gathered in this next part, if you're following along at home, we're going to go ahead and get the reverse camera wired up into the joining head units. All right, so if you look right here behind your glove box, there is a panel back here with a whole bunch of plugs. The top left plug is a black plug. It's this one. That black plug has a red wire that comes out of it. That red wire goes back to your camera, your reverse camera, and feeds the signal to your existing, your old head unit. So in order to tap into that, you just get one of these little wire taps, and then run a wire from that wire tap through the dashboard, and then out the front where the radio goes, and then I'll show you how to wire it up. All right, so you're going to need a male end of a yellow video cable. Don't be shy. Clip it off. And you're going to want to strip it. So once you strip it, you'll see that there is a bunch of silver wires that are hanging out. Go ahead and rake all those to one side, because you will need those later. And then you will strip the little yellow wire back and get that bare wire there on top. So now you have negative and positive. Alright, so I got a little carried away and I forgot to record stuff. So this little plug is the 24 pin plug. It's got 4 wires coming out of it. There's a red one, a black one with black tape on it, and then a white one. And these are those 4 wires right here. Get out of the way. Focus in. What you're going to do is you're going to strip these wires back, and then we'll connect them to the places that they need to go. It's connected, it is. Pull our heat shrink over it. Let that cool down for a sec. Alright, so the next one is the taped one and the white one get twisted together and put into the ground of the video cable. So on your joining harness, the one that comes with the unit, there is a orange cable sticking out of it that goes to nothing. The end of it's just a dead end. And it also says back on the little label here. Come on, you can do it. There it goes. Find that, strip the end of that, and that goes with this black one here. Alright, so we got the black wire with the crimp on it. Get a piece of heat shrink. Put a little piece of heat shrink over that. Now what I like to do is I will use my pliers and go ahead and grip the butt connector where I want it. Slide that on in, give it the old crimp. Slide that over that. Good old heat shrink on there. Alright, so I ain't gonna sit here and tell y'all I did that right. I got a little ahead of myself, a little fast. So this wire with the back on it, back tag, is also supposed to connect to this wire that we ran from the red plug down, or the red wire off that plug down there that goes to the backup camera. There we go. Now we should be good to go. So now these go together just like you would figure. And now it's just matching up plugs. Those are for the AC. Alright, so what happened was I got a little bit ahead of myself, and I forgot to connect that green wire to that black wire coming from the truck and the orange back wire. Ordinarily, I would have just twisted the green and black wire together and then butt connected that to the orange wire. But in this case, since I forgot to do it, I just went ahead and used another wire tap and just tapped into the orange wire, and it worked perfectly. So just a couple things that I noticed during this install. The wiring harness that comes with the join unit, you're going to have plugs on that don't actually plug into anything inside the truck. Likewise, you're going to have plugs from inside the truck that don't plug into anything going into the joining head unit. Another thing I wanted to let you know about is when you get it all hooked up and you get it fully installed, the first thing you're going to probably do is try to use the volume button on your steering wheel. In my case, everything worked, all the buttons worked, but they were all programmed as volume up buttons. So it didn't matter what button I pressed, the call button, the back button, whatever, everything just turned the volume up. Once you get it fully installed, you will have to go into the settings and map out all of the steering wheel controls. It's super easy. It took me about 3 minutes to figure it out. In about a week or so, maybe 2 weeks, I'm going to shoot another video, and I'm going to go through all the settings and all the different things that you can do with this head unit. I've watched a few videos on YouTube, and nothing really kind of goes into depth as how the unit can be used either standalone or through Android Auto, or even the iPhone, whatever the iPhone app is, CarPlay. So I'm going to do a video that actually shows you what you can and can't do, and how you can pull up a Venza Maps, lay your tracks over Venza Maps. Same thing with Onyx, as well as Gaia. Alright, so this unit comes with its own GPS antenna and also these 4G cellular bars. I'm sure it's just for making your car a hotspot. You probably can't see it, but where that little black wire goes all the way to the back, I went ahead and stuck the GPS antenna up there with some double-sided 3M Gorilla Tape or whatever it is. And I'm going to do the same. These come with actual sticky pads on the back. I'm going to do the same thing with these, stick them up there on the dashboard. Right up underneath here, right up underneath here is just the top of the bottom of the dashboard, so it should work out pretty good. There it goes. Alright, so it comes on. Home. I have no idea how this thing works, so I guess I still got to play with it. Let's see, Google Maps. It's like you're offline, so I don't have anything connected to it, so it's... Anyway, I got to figure this thing out. I don't know how it works, but here's the cool part. Put it in reverse. Boom! Backup camera. So it can be done. Alright, I got to do a couple more things and run a USB cable somewheres, and then that's it. Alright, so we've got everything working. We checked it. It's time to stuff everything in here. Maybe. Alright, so what we've learned is that on the back of your original radio is these 3 little yellow clips. You might want to grab those. Oh, much better. Okay. Use the clips. They help. Alright, so that's it. That's how the install goes on the joying head unit for the Tacomas. That works in the 2nd gen. I'm sure it's probably pretty close for the 3rd gen too. But if you have any questions, feel free to hit me up and I'll be happy to answer them for you. Thanks a lot, and we'll see you on the next one, where I'll do a review of what I think of it so far and show you some of the features that you can actually use with it. It doesn't appear there's too many videos about what you can actually do with it and what you can't do with it. So we'll try and get that cleared up for you. Alright, y'all have a good one. Later. That was fun. That requires a cold beer.